December 14, 2023. Denver, Diverse, Inclusive, Talented Workforce by Marcus Giavanni. They're talking about the employees of the city and county of Denver. Now, when you think about what diverse means, that's what diverse means. So, in the mortal world, what you look like, what your sexual orientations, what your gender, all that stuff, you got to get employed whether you have the merits or ability to do so. And so that is not the true diversity. This comes from Oxford Languages. Pretty soon there's going to be new dictionaries. It's going to replace all the words of, because the linguistic language that we all talk and write and text and email, it's now all observed and indexed by artificial intelligence in our own metaverse, in our own clouds that we create. And so when you think about the metaverse, it ain't the metaverse of Mark Zuckerberg, Blue Belt. So I called him up and said, dude, let's fight. They got scared. And you notice how they don't talk about that no more? Yeah, Google search, never mind, doesn't matter. Uh, Durango Dank and Mark Zuckerberg, or Marcus Giovanni and Mark Zuckerberg. So Giavanni, but I also own Gio because that's the most common misspelling is Marcus Giovanni, but I'm Marcus Gia Pet. So AI doesn't, in virtual machines, learning capability, unless it's programmed, which you can't program. Well, you can do whatever you want, but it goes into a different category because you can do whatever you want on the internet. But that's where dark web comes in and IoT, Internet of Things. And the Internet of Things isn't just the hardware and software and the people behind it, but it's the conversations before all of that. The titles, the blocks, these are all blocks right here. Not a square block, but they're blocks. Each one of these have a little block. Watch. Block. So each one of them are connected somehow, one way or another. They're connected. But with artificial intelligence, diverse isn't what this is because it doesn't see color. It doesn't see racism. You know what I mean? It understands it from what people write about it, and then it picks out the best probable reality and who wrote it and who's the author and what school they come from, what's the graduation rate. And that's the thing. Right now, we're moving into this social credit system, scores and rankings. And I learned that if a school, like, let's take um, Yale. Yale has a 90% graduation rate and 5% acceptance rate. See, some people go, oh, they need to be more inclusive and bring that down. Just like they try to do with Google and YouTube, telling them what they need to do. But when you have a 97 and you're charging 16,000 after aid, okay, and then you look at um, some of the other universities, like in Denver, 13,000, 72 acceptance rate, meaning that they'll accept anybody 72% of the time. And the graduation rate 61. That's better than Metropolitan State University. 14 grand to go there. 50% graduation rate. I don't believe that. I don't believe that. I'd have to look that up. That used to be 48%, 89% acceptance rate. So even if they're at 50 graduation rate, 50%, and see, I'm going to check this out because they can go in and change, manipulate this anything they want. Okay, because the way, okay, so 49 to 8%, they could have rounded it off, but those are 2021 numbers. So you have to find the 2023 numbers. Metropolitan State University retention rate 63%, 4-year graduation rate 5%, 6-year graduation 24%. See? First time full time, other full time, first time part time, and other part time. Wow. I wouldn't go to school there just because of that. 13 grand, folks. University of Denver. They're the highest. $32,000 from a college. And see, they're going to go to Yale University people and get those students first because those are the ones that are the smartest. When a school can get this down to 1% and get this to 100% or 99, 99 and 1, not 1 and 99, not reversed. And everything right now in this world's reversed. We write in reverse. So when you look at Denver's diversity, see? Diverse, inclusive. Let's look up inclusive. Including, covering all the services and facilities. That's how you get votes, folks. It's that's what AI says. See, these people would argue against it, no, and say, "Oh no, here's the facts." See, all these words they've been saying since 2016 have all been indexed as negative when it comes out of certain identifier mouths whose meta tags don't match their actions. Because our voices are the new latent print, not fingerprint, voice prints that artificial intelligence uses now to identify us anywhere we are next to a open microphone, whether it's at a McDonald's on Evans and Colorado Boulevard, or look. And if you don't believe me, go to the drive-through, look on the wall, right next to the window, at the top by the roof, and you'll be able to see that they record all video and audio inside and out for the protection of all. And see, we can take, if there's 5 phones in that McDonald's, they're all linked to the system that's in there. Whatever their security system is, they can Bluetooth you, constantly scan everything that comes walking in and out of their store. There's some new security that is mind blowing, but it's very expensive. But you can do it yourself if you know how to do what we do. And that's what we do, is teach people how to be self-sustainable in all aspects of their life. So inclusive or inclusivity, only an inclusive peace process will end the conflict. So if you're going to cover all the cost, service, facilities, and items normally expected or required, they're backwards, folks. They're backwards. Here's at City and County of Denver. This is the @ sign. This is the handle. And anything that Denver does, it's opposite. So we write our content based off knowing the meta tags of everybody involved with the City and County of Denver government. Their names have been on lists that you can search right on the website. And so now what happens is, we've done this so many times, we've created layers and layers and layers and layers and layers of content that's now starting to attract other people like-minded that knows that we can't no longer lie and tell people we've been somewhere when we haven't. You can say it in the mortal world, but even if you think you don't have your device, there's a device by you. And when you go back and you say, you go, okay, we're going to go out in the middle of the desert, we're all going to talk. Okay? Now, we're going to leave our cell phones in the car and we're going to go over here. So what happens is, depending on the apps you have, Um, and let's think about 911. It can control anything it wants to on your phone, folks, but that's for another story. So what you want to do is, so these people go together and they start talking, and all their phones are being picked up GPS and the cell phone tower pings as a group of people that went completely silent. Some phones are turned off. When they all arrived, they shut their phones off, or they just some didn't, and so it's sending a message to first of all, and then what they do is they say, "Wow, there's 5 people, or here's 2 people they're off the grid right now, and they're not. Their phones are on. We can hear, and there's nobody talking. There's no life beating with the motion and all the other detections that your phone can do that you don't know. I mean, if they have, just wait, they're going to have phones that have different, like smoke detectors. I mean, that gets a little nuclear. But anyways, so if you think about how these people work, and everything is about Denver, not the citizens, and what they've been doing for 60 years, and we got closure on February 6th. On January 30th, we put in our first emergency hearing. I included some data within my documents because I knew that they were either going to digitize it, put it on record, which they have to do, but it's depending on when they do that. Well, I got a notice that I didn't get on January 30th. I didn't get any notices from the courts or anything, and that's part of due process. But they held on to it. And so artificial intelligence gave me a notice that, hey, you need to go file another motion because this ain't happening. So February 6th, I went and filed another emergency hearing. This time my content was a little different. But see, they don't know it because they never read it. Anyways, or the intake judge, the woman that denied me the January 31 and held on to everything. Okay, so what happens is they had no choice because they don't know who's watching them. So they had no choice but to grant me because they didn't send me no notice. I mean, talking about manipulation of a judicial system. Anyways, that's why I don't work there, man. See, they'll just point at, oh, he's in, just like they do. That's what they do. But see, there's so many people now in the artificial intelligence industry that know what I know, and they know that they always have to do the right thing. And Denver's little pals and all the things that prop Denver up on a foundation of fraud, manipulation of the law, and non enforcement of laws that keep them in power was settled on February 6th. Andrew Luxon, courtroom 414, case 2023CV54, 23CV54. And what I did was, when I got the information and they emailed me, and so I knew that, okay, well, I could have got an email from the court to let me know on January. And see, the thing is no matter what I would have put in for my signatures, I already got an alert that the conversation in the background by Colorado Newsline, those tumors there, um, they uh, they're a wicked bunch. Most of the media in Denver is a wicked bunch of cowards and sniveling, whining trolls. And they've done their best to keep control of Denver. And what they don't understand is the journalists don't have minimal authority when they don't do the right thing. Minimal. And if it's just content that needs to fill a void because of they're creating commerce, and that's the other thing too. When you create commerce, you know, what commerce are you creating? Like who's buying the Denver Post? What's the demographics? Are they selling to everybody, or are they just selling to one specific group of people? And then you look at the group of people who associate themselves with the Denver Post, and you think, well, how can they be like this if the people that own them, the investment firm that owns them, seems to be right wingers? I've heard that, and or I don't know. But see, if we look what Thomas Jefferson said about people that read newspapers, only read newspapers. I'm not going to tell you what it is. Go look it up. Thomas Jefferson and people who just read newspapers. So when you look at this right here, it tells a story. See, our content's based off inverted pyramid. People are so busy. If you don't got them, our content and the people that know, because we've been doing this for 13 years, and everyone looks at it and go, well, yeah, I've been to the page and see the people that click on my stuff. They either want the good stuff, and they're going to be protected in the digital dome, or they're going to be the dark web, trying to find information about me so that they can go tell everybody. And it's something that where a group of people sitting in an office, maybe three people, and they Google search something, and then they talk out loud, and they put their perspectives in on what they've read. And so what they do is then they start plotting and conspiring to write content, because they're in the government and they think they can do these things and they can't. And so I've indexed the entire IT department of Denver. I know all the people, all the players of the whole, every single department in Denver. That's the kind of mayor I'd have been. And see, I can just do a little woo woo. And see, what I did is I built this network right here. City and County of Denver network. It's going to be the most powerful business network in the world. Forget about these other groups, which are good because they're foundations of people that are doing the same thing, and the same people. This is all new. This is a non-political, non-religion platform. It's based off merits and abilities. So if you can do something, then you can do it. So a lot of people want to go and they want to be they because of their color, their creed, or whatever their sexual orientation, or because they're a certain gender or not gender or non-identified or identified. See, when they're asking all these questions to people, they're sizing you up. Have you heard of Social Gulag, folks? It's an album I just put out under Durango Dank, and it's foretelling a lot of things that sooner or later I don't think it's going to happen. My stuff's going to happen, but what Denver does, so it's hard to explain because I'm looking over here, but yet I'm seeing this still over here, and this is going to give Denver citizens the power to be on the world stage, to where we're going to be able, like my first 100 years. It goes back. When I talk about my first 100 years, I'm talking about Mayor Robert W. Spear, a Democrat that knew what a partisanship government would look like. And so this is why they're taking homeless in one group of street and then go move them on another group of street, because the same people go down that same road all the time. So they hit the roads that are least traveled, and they put them there. And so now all these new people start complaining that these people are here, and the media is not saying nothing because they want to keep continuing to go to the parties and have all the fun. And what's funny is all their voices are now being pattern matched. And governments, our federal government, which is IRS, has been lackadaisical for quite some time, and they just got the word that if they're going after Biden, they're going to go after every 501c in the city and county of Denver. Okay? That's all their social channels match to one partisan group of people. The same people, Denver Decides, Denver.org, which should be Denver.gov, but it's denvergov.org, Denver Government Organization. They're not going to get these. This is the other thing they don't know. And so I'm telling you all, folks, because it's going to happen. All these grants and everything they're going to get, as soon as the IRS gets their game plan together, and that's what they're doing. And that's why finally they said, hey, we're going to have to go after Hunter Biden's son for this. And, should the president be blamed for his son's taxes? I don't think so. But their argument is where to get the money. So I mean, like if you're a guy that's sporting a habits of drugs and topless dancers and hookers and things like that, there, you're up at night and you sleep during the day. So the argument is that he didn't do anything for that money. And when you look at his lifestyle, that's all you need to know. Is he doing the crack and all that stuff during the daytime? I study crack, folks. Believe it, I've studied it more than you can ever imagine. And I've lost a lot of friends to crack, speedballs, heroin, you name it, over the years. I'm a cooler in many ways. But a cooler in the forex market is someone that can get somebody in the market that lost hundreds of thousands of dollars. I don't do that no more. I only advise. But there's some big money right now in the forex market, folks. They're starting to demonetize the U.S. dollar, and why we're all bickering and we're all against each other, and we want everybody to come out of the closet to tell everybody what we do, and it's nobody's business. It's none of my business, man. When I pull over and I help somebody with their flat, I see a flat tire and I see people. I don't see color. I don't see nothing. I see people stranded. And I pull over and I help. And because I don't want to be stranded where nobody helps me, and that's what happens. Those guys you see on the telephone trying to call somebody, and you go by and he's still there 4 hours later, and then later on their car's still there, and it's a $100,000 car, and that's how you know they don't have the money, because the tow truck's not there to tow it away. So they have to walk. Somebody came and got them, and they left the truck there. Who would ever leave $100,000 car on a freeway? So anyways, I'm just telling you things I see and other people see, and the things I learned when I walked around to get my signatures is that the lines on my face, oh my God, my skin cracked so bad standing out, trying to get people to stop to write a signature that used to be happen in April, but they moved it. It's kind of crazy. You got to look it up. Um, so, anyways, when you look at the way Denver structures its content, you have this is us. Denver is the only city in the world who can reset its government by voting non-political for Denver. And either the current city council denounces all city and county of Denver government. Then it comes followed by our work, 2005 to K. So this is the big push that Johnston's doing. And what people don't understand is that, and this is why they're in crisis, the 1,000 people that they're going to house, he wants to do 3,000 um, homeless shelters or 3,000 low-cost housing every year. So for his 4 years, that's what? You get the math? So instead of making it to where and seeing what they do is this is their green footprint. They're going to go mow over these houses or go find some vacant land, really nice, some nice land, and annex it, and or uh, do some other trickeries that they have up their sleeve to take property from people. And then they build these little things to be eye candy for the 90,000 people that voted for them. And since it's a whole democratic process, so it's the entire Denver Democrats who have illegally taken over the city and county of Denver, and they don't know it yet. Well, no, they know it now, and they've always known it. It's just been hushed throughout the years. And no matter how they try to boost and write content so that when you Google search City and County of Denver, you do Google search Denver, all you see is their assets. That's chokeholding the businesses from growth. And they're not allowed to impede that. And they're impeding it every single day they open up their mouths. And this mayor that you have right now running the city, he's the most worthless of all worthless. And you can tell because I always talk about the cheese whiz style, where this mayor has they had him wearing that stupid looking coat. I mean, something that you'd wear in eighth grade. So, because I had one of those in eighth grade, you wouldn't catch me dead in one of those now if I was in eighth grade. So, if um, if you look at the way they talk and bark, it here's our this is our company. See, we own counties and cities in the United States. All we need is one entry point. That's what makes Denver so powerful because we're going to be able to help other cities and counties join our network so that we can sell our products and services to the world based off non-politics, non-religion. No politics, no religion because it doesn't matter. You got to eat, you got to live. The rest you're just praying and thanking for whatever it is you do. That's how simple it is. But it ain't simple for Wikipedia. Denver's a consolidated city and county capital. See, it's not spelt right. That's because Wikipedia, whose all the money that we send to Wikipedia goes to another country. And they're one of the biggest manipulative of. And see, if I was mayor, this would be celebrating. I'd be suing Wikipedia for $100 million. That's like $10 million to every um, city council district. And that city council district, those districts, not the government, not the city council member, but our delegate. We have delegates now. See, most people don't know this, but we're building it, and it's a slow process because we have our rules to get into our stuff. We're at 1% acceptance rate, and our graduation rate is 100%. You can't put zero acceptance rate and a zero graduation or 100% graduation rate because there's no people there because you're not accepting anybody. So when you understand how this all works, Stanford 94, I thought they were 97, but 94% at 4% rate. See, 4% after aid. $7,200, folks. Before aid, it's 78,000. After aid, so not only these numbers don't match up with the money that it's costing. People saying, "Oh, college is so expensive." No, it ain't for other people. Okay? This right here should be at least that amount right there. Well, not exactly, but pretty close. Pretty, pretty close. That should really freak people out, but it doesn't. So what happens here? We're back to the city and county of Denver. Marcus Giavanni's missing, folks. Ballotpedia, there I am. I'm not missing there. There I am. Sues Paul Lopez. See, because when you're diverse and inclusive and you got talented workforce, and that talent workforce is connected to the city attorney's office and the mayor's office and the clerk and recorder's office and all those employees, and then you get into the city courts, the county courts, they're all connected. This is what their diversity looks like, folks. Diverse talent. Diverse talent presents a global pipeline to unique sourcing processes that highlights the workforce that reflects our country's demographic. No, that reflects your demographics, Missing Marcus Giavanni. I'm the most diverse, talented person they would ever get to work there. And that's why I'm not mayor, because I didn't want to be mayor, folks. My goal, I needed to be mayor. And then I would have just used artificial intelligence and ran everybody's resumes and their applications through my little whoop-de-woo. And then I would have told you where their percentage of merits and ability lies in order to create us to go better. So in the meantime, what we do is we take those that are currently working and they're all Democrats. That's what I've been told. And see, I haven't had anybody concur on that, but it's pretty obvious because when you look at the top leaders, they're all Democrats. And so now artificial intelligence knows this. And now judges and lawyers from other districts and other court levels know this. And so if they all join in on this bullshit that who? Yeah, Andrew Luxon. Remember, I took his meta tags and I intertwined it into my complaint. And not most people will read it, won't even know. Some will go, "Oh, this is like broken English." What? But hey, University of Denver, Colorado, missing Marcus Giavanni, talent, diversity, inclusive. Why? Because Karen Hoover used to be the the queen of Stern Law. She was a professor, Sternum, I think it's Sternum. And when you got a graduation rate and an acceptance rate that they have for this kind of money, it's sad because it don't match. Because Stephanie O'Malley has, they're all intertwined. Stephanie O'Malley, Mayor Webb found out that he's not worth anything. And that what I mean not worth anything, not in the mortal world, but in the election world and in the digital world of the World Wide Web or his metaverse or our metaverses. Whoever follows him, they are in their metaverses, and you're not in his metaverse because he doesn't follow you. So therefore, those kind of guys, when you see, when it comes to politicians, when you see they're only following three or four, and they got 3,000 following them, what did he promise those people? Because in my world, those numbers don't match. He has to follow every single one of those people. So me, I don't use Facebook. I don't use Twitter. I have accounts because I set it up a long time ago, and I only did it because I had to, because that's what everybody was doing, right? And then as I learn more and more about what things are going to happen and the social credit system scores and rankings.com and other different platforms that are going to turn Denver's colleges into some really big, 77% graduation rate. That's pretty good. It's not. Hey, knock it off. Sorry, almost a dog cat fight. Are you okay? Come here. Are you okay, buddy? Huh? She scared you? Wow. Hear that? That's a big boy right there. Huh? That's my little puppy. Big boy puppy, though. He got big paws. Anyways, enough about me. When you look at how Denver and they use their linguos, like here, Marcus Giovanni, Jamie, I called her out. She would have been the biggest disaster for Denver. You would not believe, man. I had to do all I could to make sure she was not going to be elected, man. Everything. And, and people go, oh, yeah, okay. Well, think what you want. Go ask Kelly Bro, and her whack-a-mole and all the different levels of jobs that she quit to get to the next job, and how she left Hickenlooper with $500 million in deficit. Some people say 700. Some even, but if they're willing to go into a court, a law, into a judge, Andrew Luxon's on, if they're willing to go in there, when I asked about the Spear Amendment, and Michelle Horn blasted with glee in an obtuse manner, we haven't enforced that law in years. And what came out of Luxon's mouth? I think he said, "That's good enough for me." Okay, well, thank you, everybody. You can appeal this if you want to, these decisions, and blah 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 blah. And all I know is that I almost cried because when she said that, it took me 13 years to get her somebody to acknowledge it. And if I got a newspaper, it's not as powerful as being inside of a courtroom, which is the highest location you can be in regards to GPS and cell phone tower ping cloud evidence. But also being in the courtroom, which is the second authority, because location and then where at in that location are you. So these are identifiers that I wrote inside my complaint of what I was going to do and how the court needed to work smarter and not harder. And so they either didn't read it or they already got the first order of denial in January and they said, oh, shoot, why didn't you send this thing out? Oh, well, see, we won't know. But what we can do, we can subpoena the cloud records of all the identifiers, specific times of before and after, during a week, during the month of, and I can get all the MP3 files of anything that they've said. Anybody can do it, but there's a way to do it. And this is what we're teaching law enforcement. In 2017, there was uh, and in I couldn't say it, so I had to beat myself out of that. Somebody killed their wife, and they only had circumstantial evidence. When they got their computers and everything, it was bitched, bleached, and smashed with a hammer, and they couldn't find anything. I was being that little bit of exaggeration because that's what people have done, thinking that they're going to erase and delete all their content. And they went to school just to learn how to delete their content. And see, what they didn't learn is the cloud. That if you're on a list and politicians are on a list, and depending on what your grade of politician, you can be on many lists. And so these lists, and one of the lists is the Homeland Security, the best trained agency I've seen. I went to, and honored the um, Rosalind Carter at the Carter Library, and I was a delegate for the City and County of Denver LLC, not the City and County of Denver government. They didn't send nobody. And this woman, what she did for mental health, and if it wasn't for her, Jimmy would have never been elected. Guarantee it. But so I went and paid my respect, and I got to see firsthand Homeland Security Police. I got to see Homeland Security, all different phases, uniforms of some badass men and women. And then I got to meet the Atlanta Police. They were badass too. And I'm just talking about the protection and as far as federal government goes. I'm not a big fan of certain departments because they haven't changed, but they're working on it. And the thing is that as long as the Homeland Security stays pure, then we're all safe. But as soon as it starts to get, oh man, here it is. Look at Denver Post, building a diverse and inclusive workplace. Inclusive. Let's look at what inclusive means. Including, covering all services, facilities, or items normally expected. So, so if you're, how do you be building a diverse and inclusive workplace? So, inclusive workplace means you're going to pay for everything for the people that are going to work there, and that's everything, folks. But see, when you work in the digital world, that diverse and inclusive doesn't work. That only works in the mortal world. And when they bring these languages, these words that aren't missing, Marcus Giavanni. So when you see where it says must include, that means that they've hit the next threshold. I've written content for over 13 years, but just for the election process, 4 elections. That's 13 years. Even though we didn't go through the whole 3 years of 2.4, 2.5, 2.6, 2.7. Uh, it's crazy. LinkedIn, Marcus Giavanni. So when they talk about this type of stuff, they got to include my name because I'm the man that can do this stuff. I'm the one that went out and bought these domains, these platforms, and built them up so that when Denver falls, it's government. Whoever's running the citizens, other than the Democrats, are going to go, gee, come here. And then Democrats are going to go, wait a second, man, we're on this too. We know where everything is. Well, come on. This is all about Mayor Spear. No other mayor. And until we quit the blasphemy and the suppression and just the disrespect for that man, I love that guy, man. And it's weird how I met him, and I know you're all gonna go, "Oh man!" I was at a funeral for a friend in Denver, and I walked by Mayor Spear and his wife's grave, and he yanked me into his realm, and I haven't gotten out yet. And I'm waiting for somebody in Denver that's smarter than me that can take a look at what we built and say, "Yeah, gee, you're right, man. We've created some mortal sins against our citizens in the name of partisanship government." And you're right, Michelle Horn did sink our battleship. Ah, she not only sank it, but she destroyed everything in the Denver courts. And any judge, any lawyer that's any worth a damn, any moral, any not, oh, I'm look the other way like they do the family courts with Magistrate Karen Hubler and then Magistrate Elizabeth Lay, the two most dangerous women that have destroyed many children's lives, man, including mine. They got the power to take your kids away. They took mine for 6 months, all off based off bullshit. And they done it to women. I know that where they taking the women away because the women didn't have any money and the man that they had money. So they gave it to the guy and then dehumanized the woman. How do you take a woman, kids away from a woman? I don't get it. No matter what, I never tried to do that until things started going wackadoo. When Magistrate Karen Hubler and the Denver Health and Human Services, and they filed a summary judgment against me and they sent it to Norfolk, Virginia. They didn't want me to answer it. And so now all the lawyers that I've contacted, they don't realize that when I contact them, and all based off their lingo, because that's what I use when I do reversed engineered, and then Google gives me the people that I'm asking for, based off what their advertising is, and when they don't man up, see, I won't know why they turn me down when they don't even call me back, but then I look and it's Sternum. So Google has given me every law firm that has a student graduated or an alumni that graduated from them. And I've contacted a lot of them. New York City, there I got lawyers ready to come in and do what we got to do, and I'll just but I really don't want to. I don't really want to file a claim against the city and county of Denver. I've got enough evidence where they've done their best to destroy me, and I got that in the cloud, but it's going to be posted because it's a lot of things I do are going to be or are already written and they're just published later. I've got stuff that's going to be published way late, way after I'm gone. I've created this stuff. So this is how you deal with evil, and this is a coward evil, very dangerous group of people here, man. And I and I started with Ian Tafoya. I used him and Paul Fiorino, and then I used certain, and then as far as public, but we indexed every candidate in the last 4 elections in the background. So like when you think about some of some of the people, it's just bad. The only talent that they really have right now for the metaverse is me. And I already created all the platforms. So the more they go into my stuff and click on my stuff and try to write, join our diverse, inclusive, talented workforce of our more than 11,000 team members, they're all Democrats. That's against the law, folks. That is not diverse, and that's not inclusive, and that's not a talented workforce. Don't get me wrong, they do got some talent. 911, the 311 department head, badass woman. Um, uh, there's a couple other, but the worst one are Denver Health and Human Services. They are the most corrupt of all corrupted departments. They should all go to jail. Monica Jackson, from what she did to me and my family and other families, she needs to go to jail. But that's what it is, man. Because you got all these people that have been conspiring together. And the conspiracy behind me, folks, has happened since I was a kid. When I was raised by a white family and defending myself that, yes, that's my dad. Dad, are you my dad? Yes, son. He don't look like you. That's because I'm adopted. What, like at a dog park? At a dog pound? A dog facility? That was the ignorance of being people adopted. And you know what, folks? Some people don't get it because I met people that were adopted, and one kid, yeah, great life, loves his parents, doesn't even think about his other parents. I don't believe that at all. You can't. When you're adopted, you can't automatically just, okay, I'm adopted. Oh, I love you guys. You're not thinking about your adopted? Nope. You don't think about, you don't have, nope, you're my family. I don't think about nothing like that. It's bullshit. Like, unequivocally bullshit. Because you can't help. It's just the laws of nature and mankind of wanting to know everything about ourselves. So that don't hold up in water. Then you come from me where I had 7 kids, man. And so I was constantly fighting for my identity in a white world that I did not belong in.